The Bram Weinstein Show on Washington's new home for sports. ESPN 630.
Hey, babies. Can you hear this? You can't hear this. Nah, this don't work. Once again, the studio destroys us. Once again.
No.
Uh-oh.
No, it's because we rewired everything.
Oh.
The right way it was before.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Because I got a weird echo in my head. Like I'm talking through your mic. What do you think about that? Might be wrong, might be right, don't know. Curious.
Swing that one around.
Yeah, let's see.
Here, try that one.
Let's see what happens if I talk into this one. Hello. Ooh, you got this one going now.
No. Take that one, though. Take
Why?
that one. Just because there's a hum.
Oh. Hello. How are you today? Should we just do the whole... You want to dump out of the whole show? No? Your mic work now? Does this one work?
Yeah, you go.
Sound like
there you
it.
go. Yeah, you're good.
Okay, if you say so. Because I can't hear myself for sure. So, anyway, if you're telling me it's working, I'll believe you.
I hear you.
Okay. I don't hear me, but that's all right.
That might be your headphones then.
Well, I can hear you perfectly, but if I can't hear myself in my headphones, there's got to be something wrong with that. Anyway, whatever. We're just yelling about things that nobody cares about. Whew, I thought Kyle Shanahan's complaints about his hats were stupid, but mine, pretty stupid today. Wow. This place is awesome. What a studio.
No, I thought we had fixed it.
Wow.
So.
What a week we've had technically in here. Been wonderful. Who's going to get on this one? Nobody.
Well, me,
Okay.
because I'm the one that facilitated getting it fixed.
Not
so.
only are you in management, you have to fix everything,
I don't
too.
fix everything. I get people to fix it.
You know what? No one else fixes everything either. Maybe management can have a meeting about that. Hello, babies. How are you? Hi, everyone. Okay. I was in a good mood. I was staring at pictures of Paige Spearnack a minute ago because I was flipping through the New York Post to tell you about Kyle Shanahan, and they had a story about her. I don't know how I landed on it, but whew, holy moly.
Yes.
She is very, very pretty.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, okay. Let's see. New York Post goes through an interview that Kyle Shanahan did. This will all have a thread today. Today's show has a thread that I tell you about.
Okay.
Which is everybody being themselves. Okay? Everybody being themselves.
Yeah.
Because I got a piece about Russell Wilson I want to read to you in a little bit where it's just people trashing him for being a nerd. And, you know, and he's clearly overcome the fact that he's a nerd. He wins a lot as a nerd.
Right.
Yes. Fine.
Yes.
Here's Kyle. I want to ask Doc about this because we have a quarterback here who, what's everybody saying about, the quarterback here? He's not dude, doesn't relate,
Sure.
all this stuff. So
Yeah,
I want to ask how much that matters because Doc was part of the cool club when he played.
Correct. Yeah, exactly.
Part of maybe the coolest unit we've ever had.
Yes, bar none.
Yeah. Yep. So I wonder how much that matters because we got a lot of that going on today, including Kyle Shanahan, who's very upset. He's not allowed to wear whatever 49ers hat he wants on the sideline. Apparently, that's a thing for him. And he went on, I guess he does like a weekly hit, on a radio show out in San Francisco. And they asked him about his hats. And he was told he's not allowed to wear whichever hat he wants, even if it is an official NFL hat with the 49ers.
Yep.
He's just not allowed to do it. They've told him you have to wear certain hats this year, and there's a cutoff of those hats.
You have to wear, I know these rules, you have to wear whatever the current year's new hat is. The NFL...
Why?
The NFL and New Era roll out new merch every single year.
And so that's why.
You have to basically be a part of their marketing machine. That's what they do.
You have to wear those hats. If you're going to wear, you don't have to wear a hat, but if you wear a hat, you have to wear these hats.
You have to wear the brand new ones, whatever. And he actually mentioned it. And then your options expand as the season goes to do the salute to service, the cancer awareness one, whatever other ones they have too. So you have to wear whatever that year's hats are.
Here's his biggest beef with it, though. He said, "It's a tough issue. They won't let me pick out my own hat. They won't let me wear any one that's from a previous year, so I can't wear like an older one. I've got to wear the new ones that they give this year. Unfortunately, there's none that I like." hopefully we could find it, figure it out, or wait until the salute to service where everybody gets the military-styled hats, which is one that I got from a year ago.
Yeah.
It's just deals, and I don't want to get too hard. I don't want to go too hard or get fined or anything. But trust me, I'm upset about this. He wants his look.
So
he wants his look.
Here's the deal too.
But you know what? The players aren't allowed to. They can't put on the wrong socks. They'll get fined for doing that.
Right. No, for sure.
Like, it's hardcore on them.
Yeah.
Beckham wore a watch, and everybody freaked out on him, and he got fined for doing it. There's people who walk around the field every year. If you have any minor uniform infraction, they will fine you.
Right. What he's getting at, though, is so he has a deal with New Era to have his own custom-made San Fran hats.
Oh, okay. Well, then I see the NFL's point where they're like, you're not going to do that.
But what he's getting at, and I actually understand him here, is I'm still wearing a San Francisco 49ers hat. It's just a part of my line. It all gets sold. So why can't I wear it?
And he's saying the NFL profits from this. But he also specifically profits from this because it's like this is his line of clothing.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's still a San Francisco 49ers hat.
Well, they had to allow the 49ers logo to be part of it.
Correct. Exactly.
Like, he can make a Shanahan hat. He can't make a 49ers hat without them saying it's okay for you to make that hat.
Correct, but it's a 49ers hat. It is an official San Fran hat. So I get what he's saying here in that, yeah, I'm a part of the marketing machine, but I'm also selling something else that you also are profiting off of.
It says here, before the Shanahan, is what they call it.
Shanahan.
He said he didn't like wearing hats on the sideline and refused to do it because he didn't like how they worked for him. So he designed a hat with New Era that makes him one that he enjoys wearing. He said, and then I started wearing it just a couple of games, and we actually won in those games. So then eventually throughout the year, I was ready to take the hat off. I mentioned that to my wife one day before a game, and I never mentioned it again. She said, that's why we're winning. So to your point about don't lay out the uniforms in advance, if one of them's working, why mess with the juju of it?
Correct.
So like he wore the Shanahan hat because they were winning, and he's like, I'm not messing with anything right now.
That's right.
I think he's smart enough to know the hat had nothing to do with them winning or losing. But I'm superstitious too.
You don't mess with it.
Something's working. You don't mess with it.
Yeah.
You don't mess with it.
Right.
We played Toto's Africa before every Capitals playoff game. We know that had nothing to do with them winning, but they acknowledged it had something to do with it. They played it at the parade.
Right. Correct.
They do it.
Exactly.
If something's working, whatever's gotten into the flow, as Aaron Rodgers would explain, sometimes your team ends up being on sports ayahuasca, and for him, the hat worked.
It is fully blown. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You look good, you feel good, you play good, you win good. Why change a thing?
Right.
Why am I going to wear the throwbacks from the 80s when the ones we're wearing right now are working out just fine for us? Or if you throw the throwbacks on and we beat somebody, why would I take those off?
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm like worried about the Giants. They're going to put that good look on. They start winning a couple games, start feeling themselves a little bit.
Start wearing those all the time.
This happened with us a couple of years ago. The guys liked wearing the white on white. And then they didn't take them off because they were winning games in them. So they're like, leave them on.
That's why
leave them on.
That's why I said I don't have a problem with the uniform release, but you're backing yourself into a corner now.
You can change their minds.
I know.
Well, this is complicated, though. This does feel a little bit like I created my hat and I want to wear my hat.
It's still a 49ers hat, though.
His gripe. Yeah.
I get his gripe.
But if they let him do it, then all of a sudden, all the players who, in the middle of the game, take their helmet off, put a hat on the sideline, are going to create their own line of 49ers hats. We get the Debo hat.
Guess what?
The Debo hat.
The 49ers don't have to approve the player hats. Ever think of that?
I mean, all right. Or if you say so.
Or if the player does that, they get fined.
Okay. If you say so. Okay.
But I'm just saying, Shanahan's gripe is real because it is a 49ers hat. It is not a hat that says Shanahan in a big font on the front. It is a 49ers logo, and it's just a certain wear that he likes. I've seen it before. They market it as his hat. So, I don't know. I get his gripe here.
Okay. All right.
I know if I was a head coach, I'd be doing the exact same thing.
There's this story today, too, from them that I don't understand this. It says when Jimmy Garoppolo signed his 5-year, $137 million contract extension with the 49ers in February 18th, he disappeared.
What?
They're saying he ghosted the team after they signed that, and that for some reason upset the team. That's a weird story to have out there.
What do they mean? They ghosted?
I don't know. He played the last 4 years there. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like some source told somebody Jimmy Garoppolo got this deal and then, quote, ghosted them after he got the deal, even though he played with them for 4 years. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I don't know what that's about.
I don't know what that's about either. Oh, boy. I got one other one from the 49ers. Speaking of Debo. There is belief on the internet that Debo Samuel slid into the DMs of Jake Paul, his girlfriend. Oh, boy. That's going to be trouble for him. He's going to have to fight him.
He slid into Jake Paul's girlfriend's DMs?
That's what the internet says. It's a problem.
Did he know that she was dating him?
I don't care. Who knows and who cares?
I was like,
Does he want to fight him?
Why are you going down 49ers?
I don't know.
Plot holes you don't
Just
care about
so
right
many.
now.
I don't know. The hats got me, and then all of a sudden I saw all these other intriguing things about the 49ers.
They sent you down the click hole.
They did. You know who I met today?
Who'd you meet?
Kurt Menefee.
Oh.
Kurt Menefee showed up at our practice today.
Look at that.
I got to meet him today. It's the first time I've ever met him.
Is he just there? Or...
He's doing a tour of camps and just getting some FaceTime with everybody and, getting everybody's, opinions on things so he can take it back to the Fox studio with him.
Oh, okay.
Good for him.
Yeah, that's cool.
The weird part was I didn't see him do any interviews. I thought for sure if you're going to send him there, you'd sit him down and do a couple interviews, but that didn't. Maybe they're doing it later, but that didn't happen. So that was interesting.
Oh, okay.
But I met him today. Anyway, one other thing of the UBU stuff, and this goes back to Live Golf. David Faraday, who I like very much, went on. Let me see. Where did he go? He went on somebody's podcast. He went to, the Toledo Blade got a hold of him.
Okay.
And said, why'd you go to Live? And he said, quote, money. He said, look, people don't want to talk about it. I hear, it's to go the game. Baloney, or he used a different word for it. They paid me a lot of money, and that's why I did it. Secondarily, he said, it's an opportunity to be myself again. It's become more and more difficult, especially in sports broadcasting, to have any kind of character. Charles Barkley can pretty much say anything he wants because it's just Charles, and it's just Charles doing this and Charles doing that. But I have become more and more guarded over the last few years. There are people waiting around every corner hoping to be offended by something. F those people. Our lives are being shaped by small groups of mean-spirited people who have no sense of humor. We're in danger of losing our national sense of humor because of this.
Oh, okay.
What? I mean, all right. So I thought cancel culture feels a little while ago now. I haven't heard a lot of that lately.
Right.
And, by the way, David, you weren't canceled.
That's right.
By anybody for anything you've said or done for years.
Yes.
And considering your personality is the reason why they gave you this contract, I'm going to go with you have been yourself.
Correct. Exactly.
If you're being guarded, it's not because NBC told you to be guarded or Golf Channel that gave you your own show and called it Faraday.
Right.
Go back to what you originally said. It's money. They paid you a lot of money and probably don't care what you say.
Right.
Because they're looking for attention.
It's also the whole, getting offended thing. People get offended at things that they should be getting offended about a lot of the time.
That's right.
It's usually rooted in good.
It goes both ways. There's a group of people in the media that are being offensive on purpose.
Yes.
Because they recognize that it matters in social media cycles. If I say this offensive thing, see, so let's talk about the other day. We invented this.
Yeah, right.
We, sports media, invented this.
Yes.
And some people took it too far. Skip Bayless,
Sure.
They took the hot take thing and they're like, what is the most incendiary thing I can say?
Right.
And just put it out there. But because it's sports, it's not really that big of a deal.
That's right.
If you're just going to hot take that LeBron's not that great, you're going to piss people off, and they're going to go, that's offensive. To some basketball fans, you're going to be like, that's offensive. But in real world terms, nobody storms anything after they say it. Nobody storms Crypto.com arena after they say it.
That's right.
The guys down the hall and all over the place stole this model. They took it too far. They took it too far. And it's funny when I hear the cancel culture thing because they're the ones that scream at the loudest And they're using the platforms to be as incendiary as possible for the purpose of getting attention.
That's right.
Wanting people to be offended.
That's right.
In sports media, if you do offend people, you will lose your job.
Correct.
In news media, they're actually demanding people act this way.
Yeah,
they're encouraging it.
You get rewarded.
They encourage it.
You get promoted.
Yes. How far? What's the line? You better go over it.
Yeah, right. That's right.
Pick a new line.
That's right. Yes.
What's the new line?
Yep.
What's the new line beyond that?
What's the button you're pushing today?
Not in sports media. In sports media, there is still a line. There's only so far you can go. And if you go personal attack style, you will get rooted out fast.
That's right.
Because they will not allow that to go on.
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
If I told you what I heard when I went to the bathroom before this show went on, you'd be shocked. If I hear one of these people ever say, like, freedom of speech to me, I would just play back the tape of that 30 seconds I caught of what this person, how they described the Attorney General of the United States and go, oh, trust me, you have freedom of speech. It's alive and well. Because I heard you just say that. And I know for a fact, you've never met the man.
Right. Exactly.
Ever.
Right.
Ever. Anyway, on Faraday, look. Like, I appreciate his honesty, which is money, but then he seems to have to qualify it like, well, I took the money because.
Yes.
Nobody canceled you, David. You took the money because you've been around a while. They offered you a lot of money. I don't blame you. I'm on your team here. I've been on this team the whole time. Take their money. Don't worry about it.
Right.
You're just talking about golf. You're not an enemy of the state. Like, no one's asking you to train, like Al-Qaeda. Like, nobody's asking you to do that. You're just doing a golf tournament, for crying out loud. No one is telling you to, do tourism for Riyadh. No one's telling you to do that. Take their money and just at least be honest about it. Right. His qualifier of, well, nobody's got a sense of humor anymore, and I'm just going to offend somebody. Oh, okay. Boy, we sports media people, we ruined it for everybody. We figured out a model that worked, unfortunately worked. It just offend people. Find a way to offend people.
Well, no, because what we were always talking about is, things that don't matter, which is sports. And then it got...
Yeah, because in the grand scheme of thing, my opinion about Russell Westbrook's shooting ability doesn't really matter.
Doesn't really matter.
And it might offend you if I say that I think he's got a terrible shot or whatever. But
stirring up the masses.
Nobody's
You're not going to storm Russ's house.
No one's going to storm his house.
Dust up.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. It just goes away. Skip Bayless made a career out of this. He figured out how to do this. The model for First Take is to come up with takes.
That's right.
Come up with them. The genius of the Barstool Show is they make fun of that.
Right. Correct.
You guys took it too far. David Faraday, you're not being canceled. Yeah. You haven't been canceled. I don't know what you're talking about. And to sit here and go, well, I could be myself on this live thing and I couldn't be on NBC. What are you talking about? They gave you a show in your name. You could do whatever you wanted to do.
Right.
Maybe you're not as interesting as you think you are.
Maybe.
Why everybody has to explain it? Just go with what it is. It's money. I don't have a problem with you taking the money. If someone came to me with some shady sports outlet and said, we're going to quadruple your pay, I would take the meeting and talk to them about it.
Yeah, right.
And then I would tell you I did it for money. And that the microphones don't work in here.
It worked perfectly fine.
They do now. It's the second straight day the show started with does this work? We're not sure.
Blame me. I've turned the wrong ones on.
Oh.
It's no one else's fault but
I get to blame you?
Blame me for it.
That's fun. All right, I'm going to take a break. Doc Walker, by the way.
Yes.
4 o'clock today. He's been out at practice last couple of weeks.
Close proximity at practice, I've seen.
Close proximity. Yeah, close proximity. He's going to do the TV of the preseason broadcast with Kenny Albert and Logan Paulson. So get his thought. Who knows find out what nicknames he's got these days. Who's what? What's he got for Brian Robinson? What's he calling him?
Oh, that's a good one, actually.
What is he?
He's got to have something.
Black Panther? What is he?
Black Panther.
What's he got for him? What's he got for him?
Wrecking Ball.
Wrecking Ball, maybe? I don't know.
Caveman.
Who knows? Demon Lemur? I don't know. We'll find out. So we'll get Doc on there.
Demon Leaves.
I don't know. I think he's run out of nicknames. He needs more nicknames. We'll help him out with that. So I'll also bust his chops. I'm never on his podcast. I don't know why. Don't know why. I got
Solly hates you. That's why.
Yeah, probably. And then probably it could be. And then 340. A legendary voice is coming on here. Andres Cantor, who is the famous soccer play-by-play voice, and you'll know him for his very famous elongated goal call.
Right.
It's been going on forever. He's going to join us because we're 100 days away from the World Cup, if you can believe that. So we'll ask him, get him to come on. And I've already been told he will not do the call on demand.
Rightfully so.
Which I thought was interesting to put in the email because he must get asked to do it on demand every single time.
Right.
So I now know, don't ask him to do it on demand.
I don't think you would as a fellow play-by-play guy.
I probably wouldn't. Because the only one, it's not a pet peeve because I'll do it for some people, but if I go on someone's show and they say, do the I'm Bram Weinstein thing, it's like, come on, man.
You're like 20 years past that.
Oh, I know. It was a long time ago. I haven't done that in a long time,
That's
guys.
Right. It's true.
So we got that going on today. 5:30, Commanders Daily, Chase Roulier on whether he thought his career was in jeopardy after the injury. And we'll get to that as well. And I'll tell you what's going on at practice as well later on. All right, be right back. Bram Weinstein Show, ESPN 630, Sports Capital.
Fine.
I agree.
He had a really good moment of time there where he had two really good songs.
Downtown hit it.
You're gonna hit. We're gonna hit another song.
That one?
No, not Downtown.
Oh,
no.
Oh.
Can't Hold Us is the other.
All right.
One. That one was the huge one that was like number one for a long time.
Macklemore did a really funny bit. There's a show, I think it was a little under the radar, called Dave on FX, which I saw the first season of, which is about a white rapper, but he's just like a lazy, he just thinks he's a great rapper. And it turns out like the story arc makes him out to be pretty good. He went viral with a really dumb song that he did. I can't say the name, what he goes by as the rap name, but it's Little, and it's about his.
You can say his name.
Lil Dicky?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I think that's...
Okay, so that's the name he goes by, and you can imagine what he's rapping about when he does this. And because he does this song, he's a white guy, it goes viral. And the show's actually very funny. Like, at least the first, I didn't see the second season, but the season's very funny because he goes viral, and it basically picks up from there that he's this lazy, has never really done anything in his life, but he went viral with this kind of dumb rap song, and now he's meeting real rappers, like going on Charlemagne the God's radio show, things like that.
Yeah.
And there's a moment where he's asked by someone to perform at like a county fair or something in behalf of some sick kid or something who said he was his favorite rapper. And at the last minute, they're like, we got Macklemore. We don't need you now. Brought Macklemore up on stage.
That's pretty good.
That was a pretty good bit. Yeah.
Nice.
I like Macklemore. I think, I don't know, that's a dangerous thing to say. I think there's a lot of people that probably put the bar on him and go, is that good or bad? I'm not really sure.
I think this happens especially a lot in rap and in hip hop. Sometimes you get on a heater with a certain album because you're with a certain producer or you're in it. And I just think that was one of those moments where he had it. Macklemore also got kind of canceled because remember he won Best Grammy for Best Rap Album. And that set off everyone going like, what are you doing? There's no way this guy was the best rapper this year. And it was because he beat Kendrick Lamar. That's right. Everybody was like,
yeah,
that guy just released one of the best rap albums ever, and you're saying this guy beat him? So I think he kind of had to lay low for a while after that happened. Not that was his fault, but yeah.
2013 is when that song came out. We're using that year for Throwback Thursday because that was year 3 for Ron Rivera in Carolina. So let's think optimistically because year 3 in Carolina, he went 12-4, and it was the first of 3 straight division titles for his Carolina teams.
Right.
Granted, his quarterback was a young Cam Newton at that point.
Yeah, I was going to say he had a franchise quarterback.
A young Cam Newton at that point. Things are different here. But it did turn for him in year 3, and I think he is hoping that they've got some kind of magical year 3 potion that's going to start this week against his old team, Carolina. All right, I wanted to read this piece to you because I think like part of whether this team is going to end up being good is going to come down to Carson Wentz playing particularly well, and not just playing well, but relating and becoming somebody who the team kind of looks to as a leader on some level. Like I think it is very clear that the leaders on this team right now, at least the ones that are pushed out as the leaders and the outspoken people, are John Allen and Terry McLaurin. I think Chase Young could be that if he was back and healthy and playing. But those are the two people that, when the D-line coach is fired a couple days ago, John Allen actually stands up and does an interview about it and talks about it. When the team is asked, like Terry McLaurin signed the extension, and the first thing he said was, I have a responsibility to this community to live up to that whole thing, all that stuff. I think they are the two de facto leaders of the team. You can choose whether you believe they should be, but I think there's no question McLaurin should be on offense. Allen, there's a lot of good players over there, and you could say Chase Young might be the best player. Whatever. Anyway, those are the two, and what you don't hear about any of them is are they a dude? Are they cool to hang out with? All that type of stuff. In Wentz's case, he's running into the Kirk thing here a little bit, and he got character assassinated a little bit when he was in Indianapolis and in Philadelphia, where it wasn't just about inaccuracies, but it was about relating to his teammates and all that type of stuff.
Right.
And frankly, granted, it's early. He hasn't played a game. They haven't lost a game yet. He hasn't had a bad game yet where people are going to really point fingers at him. I haven't seen any of that stuff. And all of that, I think if he plays well, he'll be fine. Is he going to be the one leading the dinner parties? Probably not.
Right. Yeah.
But it comes back to, can a guy who is not perceived as the dude, or the guy or the man on whatever level that is that okay as a quarterback? Because I read this piece about Russell Wilson, and there's ex-NFL players that are just trashing him because he's a nerd. For no other reason. They're trashing him because he's a nerd.
Right.
This Huffington Post picked this up. It says former NFL linebacker Channing Crowder is right when he says the Denver Broncos quarterback Russell Wilson is a, quote, square. Full stop. He loves
That's funnier than calling him a nerd, actually.
He said he loves his wife, he loves the Bible, he loves his children. He's one of the best players in the NFL, listens to smooth R&B, and was once married to a woman who made this face when he was drafted, and they showed it, and it's utterly ridiculous.
Yeah, his ex-wife, I think.
Then they put this out. He also recently got out of his truck wearing his own NFL jersey on a casual day.
Yes.
We made fun of him when he did that video from leaving his house in a pea coat, and he said, are you guys ready to tape this? And somebody was holding an umbrella for him. And I'm like, come on, man. Right? Come on, man.
Right.
So it goes on. So yes, he is absolutely a square, at least in the sense of being a person who's not cool or, quote, in the know. Wilson and, quote, the know are not friends. Even if he had help from a GPS, I don't think Wilson could find the know. Crowder called him lame, which carries the same meaning but has the bonus of being an actual insult. But here's the thing, Wilson doesn't care. So why does it bother Crowder so much that it does? He's the host of the Pivot podcast, which doubled down on his feelings about Wilson in a recent episode where he proclaimed his distaste for him and specifically his music choices and hair routine. Crowder, along with his hosts, Fred Taylor and Ryan Clark, were in conversation with one of Wilson's new teammates, Patrick Surtain, and his father, the former cornerback, Patrick Surtain Sr., when the topic came around to Russell Wilson. How uncomfortable is this for Patrick Surtain to have to listen to this?
Yeah. He's
only in his second year.
Right.
Crowder said this, I don't want to be soothing. He said after learning that Wilson prefers to listen to R&B music in the locker room. I'm about to go fight a big MFer trying to hit me in the head. I don't need music like that. Then he referred to him as a square. And then I guess during the conversation, they were asking him, do you want to maybe walk that back a little bit? And he said, no, I'm not taking it back. It's an opinion. I know guys I want to hang with, and I don't want to hang with Russ because he puts mousse in his hair, he slicks it sideways, and he ain't my type of dude.
Nothing wrong with that.
Continued. I can look at a dude from afar and tell. I see how he gets out of his car. He doesn't slam his feet to get out of the car. He rolls his heels to get out of the car. Now, the piece goes on here to ask big, broad questions about black masculinity, of which I'm not going to get into here because I don't know if that's even what it's about.
Right.
I think it's just this guy doesn't like that guy, thinks he's a nerd, doesn't care how good he is at quarterback, just doesn't want to be associated with him. And I think this has followed Wilson from the get-go in Seattle. He was hard to criticize because he was so good and won so much.
That's right.
But those guys on that defense, they freaking hated him.
Right.
They did because they felt like They were the reason why they were winning. We're the Legion of Boom, and we're the cool guys on this team,
That's right.
and he ain't one of us.
That's right.
This stuff matters. Like, I'm reading this because this stuff matters, because I see it with Wentz. It's not his fault. And also, I'm reading this and recognizing, and it's personal for me too, because I read stuff like this, and I'm in a very select field too, where there's a very small group of people doing the types of things that I do. And I know that people talk about me like this too. Like, I know it. And it's fine, because I'm different, and I'm willing to wear different types of clothes, and I'm willing to do my hair, and buy sunglasses that have drips looked on them, and maybe don't fit at a football. Like, I'm aware. Like, I'm totally aware of all this stuff. And I, like Russ, don't care. Like, I'm going to do my job, best of my ability. You're going to have to fire me. Good luck finding a reason to do it.
Right.
Right? Good luck. And so it was personal for me reading this, but it matters. I was saying this about Kurt years ago. There's one reason why he's not here. He's a nerd. That's why he's not here. That's it. Off of his play, how could you come to the conclusion you wouldn't extend him? Give me a break.
Well,
of course you would. It's going on in Minnesota now. His ex-coach hated him. The new coach may or may not like him. The GM openly said, we know we don't have a really great quarterback here, after he signed him to an extension. He's a nerd. He knows it. He doesn't care. With Russ, it seems he doesn't care. It seems he wants to prove that he's not.
Right.
And I think he's won so much and been in MVP conversations and won a Super Bowl and could have won another one. I think it's hard to, like, criticize him, but I don't know. It's weird because we're in a situation right now where I see our quarterback, and I'm hoping he has a career rebirth. But I know no one's going to call him like the dude or the man. He's not going to be treated like Aaron Rodgers, who can say wacky things, but everyone sees him as cool on some level. Like, they're just not going to treat him that way. They're not. I think Mahomes is a bit of a nerd too.
Definitely.
Lamar's cool.
Yep.
Josh Allen's cool.
Yep.
Like, both of them, they're cool. I think Mahomes is a nerd too. Like,
Yeah.
that's out there. I think he's a nerd too.
He's got a funny voice. Eats ketchup on everything.
Wears crazy sunglasses.
Yeah.
Looks like clothes from the 1980s. It's nuts. His brother does crazy stuff.
His wife is annoying too.
Yeah.
His fiance.
The whole thing. Yeah, the whole thing. The whole package is crazy. He's just so good at football that it's like a little beyond reproach. But, like, you know who the guys are who are cool. Brady's cool. Josh Allen's cool. Lamar's cool. Like, clearly cool.
Was Manning cool?
I don't think he ever was.
I don't think he was either. But he was so good. It was
He
like...
was so good. But you know what? He also... What you did not hear was any of this stuff.
That's true.
Like, while I think, like, he probably is kind of a big, giant nerd, he totally related to the guys.
Yeah.
He hung out with them. They said this all the time, that he was good with his teammates. Eli was the same way. Like, you'd think Eli was... We've learned with this Manning cast who the cool one was.
That's true.
It's Eli. And it found out later, he hung out with those guys all the time.
Flip cup with dimes. Dimes in New Jersey.
He was a dude with them. This stuff matters. It does. It's crazy it matters, but it matters. And it'll be interesting here because they're just yelling this out loud in front of one of his teammates. Like, I ain't hanging out with him because he's a square.
Yeah.
I don't like how he does his hair. Like, he just threw for 330 and 3 touchdowns, and you won by 20 points. Like, you still don't like the guy?
Well,
like,
no,
still?
No. See, here's what I would get this, though. I think it just opens up a broader conversation of you don't have to hang out with your coworkers.
Yeah, I guess.
And I get it. Football is a little bit different, but as long as that guy shows up on Sunday, I don't care, and I don't have to hang out with them if I don't want to.
I know.
Because I think that does bring up a bigger conversation of sometimes people want, camaraderie in the workplace, and like sometimes it really doesn't matter, I think.
Well, it also, though, with the quarterback position, it's interesting because it's thrown out there like they need to be de facto the leader, and they kind of need to be the coolest guy in the room.
Right.
And the reality is many of them aren't that guy. Either don't want to be that guy, aren't that guy, and even ones that are playing at a high level like Russ, his whole career is his teammates are like, nerd.
Right.
You're not one of us. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask Doc about this at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
Because he was part of the Cool Club.
That's right.
Here. All right. Andres Cantor, legendary voice of soccer, 100 days away from the World Cup, is going to call in a minute. Bram Weinstein Show, ESPN 630, Sports Capital. It's a great song from 2013. Throwback Thursday, because that was year 3 for Ron Rivera in Carolina. course, Washington opens as the Commanders for the first time in 2 days against the Carolina Panthers in the preseason. And this is year 3 for Ron Rivera here. And we're celebrating 2013 in honor of a 12-4 season. So he was looking for a change in year 3 there. He got it. It was the first of 3 straight NFC South championships. The third one ended up in the Super Bowl, a loss with a 15-1 team to Denver. We'll see what year 3 brings for Washington as he gets set to embark on that on Saturday. While we wait for Andres Cantor, the great voice of soccer, let me tell you about this. If you want to play hooky with us, Callow and myself, you can enter for your chance today to win 2 tickets to see the Orioles take on the Chicago Cubs next Thursday, August 18th. It's a 3:05 first pitch, which means we will not have our show, and that's why we're going to go, and you can come with us. All you have to do to get a pair of tickets is text us at 1-833 ESPN 630. That's 1-833 ESPN 630, and use today's keyword strikeout. Make sure that you put in your name and your email in the text as well so we can get a hold of you easily. The keyword, again, strikeout. We want to congratulate Steve and Mark, who were our 2 winners from yesterday. We'll continue to do this throughout the rest of the week. Standard messaging and data rates apply. So text us at 1-833 ESPN 630 if you want to try to get a pair of tickets to come with us to go see the Orioles and the Cubs. Callow may buy the first round at Pickles. We'll talk about that.
Whoa, wait a minute.
Maybe. While we wait for Andres Cantor as well, I think it's worth bringing up tonight. The Field of Dreams game is occurring between the Cubs and the Reds. And because yesterday the Nationals were playing a day game against against the Cubs on the Marquee Network, we got to see the Cubs promoting all that stuff. And it was really cool. I wish I could hear it because we only had the sound down. We got to see all like kind of the drone shots and the pictures,
right?
Because they'd sat there for like preview of the Field of Dreams game, and all of the Cubs people were there doing all that. I thought it was really cool. So
the shocking news I got today about that was that they're not playing it there next year.
Yeah.
That they're building up the stadium, so they actually can't do it for a 3rd year in a row, which I think is a little bit of a mistake. But yeah, I'm with you. Like, this is something, if the Nats ever get into it, I'm there. I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
So
I think it's really cool, but they're not doing it next year, right? Because what are they building it up?
They're building up the stadium.
What's it hold? 3,000 people.
3,000 people. So
that's the cool part about it.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a little tiny thing in the middle of a cornfield.
What essentially had happened was, I guess Frank Thomas is the one that either owns or he is their spokesperson or what, and he said 2/3 of all of their revenue come from the actual ticket sales. Therefore, the more seats they have.
I know, but if they put a big giant stadium in the middle of the cornfield, it defeats the purpose of the idea. The Field of Dreams was, from the movie, they just carved out some space in the middle of the cornfield and all the ghosts of the past showed up and played. I did see I saw what I want to see what the Cubs wear tonight, but I saw the Reds uniforms. They look really cool.
The Cubs
they're like
from
forever ago.
No.
So they're really cool.
Both sets of uniforms are great. The hats are great too. The Cubs one is that old bear with the holding the baseball bat, which I love. It's a really sick
cool.
logo. Yeah.
If the Nats played in it, would they try to wear Senators stuff? Is that what they would try to do if
the
they
Nats
did
played
that?
in it? I would have to think so. They'd have to wear some kind of Senators
or like the
uniform.
block Washington written across a gray jersey, something like that.
The one I think they would have to try to go for is the Walter Johnson.
Yeah, that look.
Block W.
The block W.
Block W on the chest, or it has Washington in small letters.
Small
across
block
the
letters
front.
as Washington up
I think
front.
you got to go Walter Johnson. So.
And if the Orioles did it, would they do the St. Louis Browns? Would they try to do something like that?
I think they'd go their oldest Baltimore jersey that they've got. I don't think that franchise can go the Browns route on that one.
And you said it's like one road in, one road out, whole. It is literally in a cornfield.
No, it's just like the movie because they hold on.
We have Andres coming on?
1 sec.
Very good. Okay. All right, we're getting set for Andres Cantor, who is one of the most famous voices of all time in soccer. He's going to be working the World Cup, and we're actually 100 days away from the start of the World Cup in Qatar. So we want to welcome in Andres in a moment here as we get him set up. He's doing a radio tour, obviously, and here he is, right? Let's say hi to Andres Cantor, one of the great voices of all time. It's a pleasure having you here, Andres. Thank you so much for taking the time today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on. How are you?
Good. All right. Tell me about the call. How did it happen? Everyone knows your famous call. You say, I don't know how you keep your breath when you do goal. How did it develop? How did you do it?
Well, basically, I always said I never invented anything. That is the way the goal call is called in Latin America, pretty much, both in radio and television, mostly in radio. Then it developed the same way in television. So I was lucky enough to, help popularize the goal call here in the U.S. to an audience that I guess wasn't used to it. And now, it is what it is. But definitely I didn't invent anything. It just came out organically, naturally, out of my mouth the very first time I did it. And here we are talking about it so many years later.
And it's amazing. Like, I think because of it, a lot of things happen. If I remember right, didn't you used to appear on David Letterman's show? Like, didn't that used to happen?
I did, yeah. Right in the middle of the 1994 World Cup, I was invited to do a couple of goal calls in the David Letterman show, which at the time was obviously the number one rated show in American television. Yeah.
It's amazing. Since we have you here, I wonder if you would weigh in on the passing of Vin Scully. I know you moved to America as a teenager. I assume you followed his work through the years, and people look at you as one of the legends of the booth. What did you think when you heard about the passing of Vin Scully?
I was very saddened. I lived in Los Angeles and listened to Vin Scully both on radio and television for so many years. Even though I'm not a great baseball fan, I did tune in to listen to him particularly because he told the stories about the game that made it more friendly to even the baseball fans and to the non-baseball fans. He was such an icon. I mean, I don't think there is nowadays anybody of his stature in the world of broadcasting. So yes, I really got, it's amazing first and foremost that he got, he got to call 67 years in a row the Dodger games. That is a feat that nobody will be able to match nowadays because of different reasons. But if he needs to be enshrined in the Hall of Fame of this business, regardless of medium. He was just the GOAT.
Since we only have you for a couple more minutes, and we are 100 days away from the start of the World Cup, just your general thoughts of who you think the favorites will be, and what you expect the storylines to emerge from the World Cup in Qatar.
The storylines will be Messi's and Cristiano Ronaldo's last hurrah. Could Messi win the World Cup this time around? The favorites are always pretty much the same. Brazil has a great team. They keep adding talent on top of talent, so they are the team to beat, in my view. France is another. Argentina has a very good team. We will see, how far Belgium can go, and of course Germany, who even though, they might not have the best team of the last couple of World Cups, they are a very good team as well, and Germany is Germany. So it's going to be very, very interesting, a very compact World Cup without any traveling at all for the teams.
Yeah.
With players are going to be very fresh, coming off 25 games in the season and not the 60 that they usually play before they reach the World Cup. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see.
Okay, last thing. What would your expectations be for the American side in the World Cup?
Well, I think they have to focus on beating Wales opening day, Monday, November 21st, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. Watch on Telemundo because that's going to be, the biggest final that they will have if they want to advance past England and Iran, who are the next two opponents. I think the U.S. has a great talented, very young but experienced pool of players. I think they can beat Wales. I hope they will beat Wales. But they have to think about that game alone and nothing else, because then comes England and then comes Iran. So if you get to the England match with 0 points, with no points in hand, it's going to be very, very tough mentally with the pressure that the team will be under. So they have to beat Wales in the opening match, and I think this U.S. team is capable of doing just that.
Andres, thank you so much for taking the time today. It was a pleasure having you on, the great Andres Cantor, who you'll hear in coverage of the World Cup from Qatar in 100 days. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll take a quick break here, and we'll get the legendary Rick Doc Walker He'll be in the TV booth with Kenny Albert this weekend, while Julie, myself, and London will be making our debut together for the preseason opener against Carolina. So we'll get Doc's thoughts on where the Commanders are next. Bram, watch the show, ESPN 630, Sports Capital.